Emotional connection drives decision-making. With AI churning out content by the second, what sets your brand apart isn't how much you post, it's how human you sound. Stories have always been the most powerful way to build trust and loyalty in this age of AI, and they're more essential than ever. Whether you're a coach, consultant, or product-based business, storytelling gives you the ability to move from just being seen to truly being remembered. Welcome to the Digital Success for Business podcast. I'm Leanne Cohens, founder of Marketing Leap, and after more than 30 years in business and 12 years of running a digital agency, I've seen this truth play out again and again. Human stories sell. In this episode of the Digital Success for Business podcast, we're unpacking what real brand storytelling looks like today and how to use it strategically to grow your business. It's time to talk about the psychology behind emotional resonance and why stories outperform even the smartest AI content, how human-led storytelling builds trust, connection, and long-term loyalty, and the storytelling frameworks that you can use without sounding cheesy or scripted, and real-world examples of what works and what doesn't, to when it comes to turning stories into sales. If you've ever wondered how to cut through the noise, connect with your audience, and build a brand that people actually care about, then this episode is for you. So let's start with the why storytelling works. Humans are wired for story. From ancient campfires to TikTok videos, storytelling has always been how we make sense of the world. Our brains are literally built to respond to narratives. When we hear a good story, we don't just listen, we feel. Neurochemicals like oxytocin and dopamine are released, which activate empathy, trust, and emotional memory. And that matters because we don't make decisions based purely on facts. We make them based on feelings, and then we back them up with logic. And that's especially true in business. Now compare that to what most brands are doing right now. They're pushing out informational content, facts, features, stats, buy now, messaging, but they're missing the emotional layer. They're missing the why that people connect with. And emotional content isn't fluff, it's strategic. When you share a story, whether it's about a client's transformation, your brand's mission, or even a moment of failure that you've learned from, you're creating a bridge. You're inviting people to see themselves in your journey, and that's what builds trust. And here's what research tells us. People remember stories up to 22 times more than facts alone. Think about that. If you could list 5 bullet points about your service, or you could tell one powerful story that actually sticks, which one do you think your audience is going to remember? So before we even get into frameworks or content tips, this is the mindset shift. Marketing isn't about selling. It's about connection. And stories are your most powerful tool for creating it. And don't get me wrong, I use AI in my business every single day. It's great for research, outlines, speed. It helps you scale. But there's one thing that AI can't scale, and that's emotion. AI can mimic tone, replicate sentence structure, and pull together helpful content, but it can't tell your story. It can't draw from lived experience, and it absolutely cannot create the emotional nuance that real human connection requires. You know what I'm talking about. Those emails or social posts that just sound off. They might be technically correct, the grammar's perfect, the structure follows a formula, but you read it and you feel nothing. No spark, no voice. It's bland, it's forgettable, and it's trying to speak to everyone, which means it speaks to no one. And that's the danger of relying too heavily on AI. You end up sounding like everyone else. What cuts through is you, your story, your voice, your truth. That's what makes people stop scrolling. That's what builds trust, and ultimately what drives conversions. Let me give you an example from a Marketing Leap client. Earlier this year, we worked with a financial services business that wanted to refresh their About Us page. What they had was factual, professional, and completely forgettable. It read like it had been written by ChatGPT 3.5 on a Monday morning. So instead, we sat down and talked about their founder's journey, why she started the business, what values mattered most, what challenges her clients were facing, and how her personal experience helped them feel seen. That story, her story, changed everything. Not only did her new About page convert better, it gave us the messaging foundation for social media, ads, her LinkedIn headline, and even her email welcome sequence. And here's the kicker. She started attracting better clients, more aligned, more values-driven, because her marketing finally sounded like her. And that's the power of human-led content. In a sea of sameness, it differentiates you because no one else has your story. At Marketing Leap, this is what we help you do, whether it's inside a VIP intensive, a Chaos to Clarity program, or even just a strategy session. We will help you find your story, shape it strategically, and use it as the foundation of your marketing system. AI is a tool, but your story is a strategy. Always has been, always will be. Now I know what you're thinking. Storytelling framework? Sounds like a Hollywood screenplay. And yes, I get it. It can feel a little over-engineered if you're not careful. But here's the thing. Frameworks like Hero's Journey exist because they work. They tap into the way our brains naturally want to process information. Challenge, struggle, transformation, resolution. That's how we've made sense of the world for thousands of years. And the trick is not to make you the hero of the story. It's to make your customer the hero of the story. You're the guide, the mentor, the Yoda, not Luke Skywalker. You're here to help them overcome the obstacle and reach the goal, not to show off how great your business is. So let's just say you're a coach or a service provider. Rather than saying, we're the best at what we do, you flip it and say, we help people like you go from point A to point B, and here's how. And the more specific, the better. Talk about the fear, the overwhelm, the confusion your customer is sitting in now, and then paint the picture of what life looks like after working with you. That's what creates an emotional arc, and that's what builds trust, because the person listening isn't just hearing what you do, they're seeing themselves in your story. I actually shared this back in episode 31 when I talked about my first two businesses, the beauty salon and the outdoor retail brand. Even back then, without fancy funnels or AI tools, I was doing this intuitively. In the salon, I wasn't just promoting treatments, I was building relationships, understanding what my clients really wanted, to feel seen, confident, cared for, and showing them how I could help them get there. With the retail business, it wasn't just about barbecues and furniture. It was about helping people create beautiful, welcoming outdoor spaces, spaces for connection, for family, and for moments that mattered. And those stories worked, not because I had the most polished ads, but because I understood the emotional arc and how to position my offer as the solution. Fast forward to now, and this is exactly what we do at Marketing Leap. We help you take your unique value, wrap it up in a story that makes your client feel like they're the hero, and you're exactly who they need to guide them through. And here's what to avoid. Don't overscript it. If it sounds like a sales pitch, you've missed the point. Keep it conversational, keep it honest, and above all, keep it human. Because when you get this right, your content doesn't just engage, it moves people to action. And that's where so many businesses miss the mark. They think that marketing stops at the sale. But the truth is, storytelling is just as important after the purchase as it is before it, because that's how you shift from transactional to relational. When someone buys from you, the relationship is just beginning. And if you want them to come back, refer their friends, and become advocates for your brand, you need to keep telling stories that reinforce why they chose you in the first place. This is where emotional loyalty kicks in. It's not just about what you sell, it's about who you are, what you stand for, and how you consistently show up. One of the most effective tools here is your origin story. Where did your business come from? Why did you start? What problems were you trying to solve? And why does it matter to you? That story doesn't just live in your About page. That should weave through all of your content, your email marketing, your brand voice, so that people remember you not just for what you do, but for who you are. And then there's your values, whether it's inclusivity, innovation, sustainability, connection. Don't just say them, show them. Highlight how these values show up in the way that you work, the decisions you make, and the clients you choose to serve. And of course, bring in your customer stories because these are gold. At Marketing Leap, we work with clients to turn testimonials into transformation stories. Instead of just Leanne helped us grow, we dig deeper. What was happening before? What were the stakes? What changed? And how do they feel now? Because people don't share spreadsheets. They share stories. And when those stories feel real, relatable, and emotionally true, your audience don't just become customers. They become loyal fans, advocates, and champions. And that's the power of storytelling done right. It creates a bond that a discount or a clever ad just simply can't match. And here's the reminder, consistency is everything. You can't tell one heartfelt story and then vanish into generic content. This has to be a thread that runs through all of your marketing, from your social media posts to your sales pages. Because the brands that win in this AI age, they're not the loudest, they're the most human. The ones that make people feel something and then keep showing up. People don't remember the pitch. They remember how your story made them feel. And that's what builds loyalty. Because trust is earned through emotion, not just logic. You can have the best product, the most dialed-in funnel, or the cleverest hook, but if your audience doesn't feel something, they're not going to remember you, let alone buy from you. Storytelling is how we cut through the noise. It's how we stop being just another business and start becoming the brand that people trust, talk about, and stay loyal to. So if you're tired of feeling like you're shouting into the void, if you're ready to build marketing that actually connects, it's time to humanize your message. Head to marketingleap.net and book your strategy session. Let's turn your brand into the story that people remember. And in 2 weeks' time, the next episode, we're looking ahead to your 2026 marketing game plan, what to keep, drop, and double down on. We'll unpack the trends that matter, the tactics that you can leave behind, and how to set up your 2026 Q1 strategy for real momentum, not just marketing burnout by February. This one's your compass for a smarter, saner, and more profitable 2026, so make sure you don't miss it. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Success for Business podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on YouTube for even more tips.